everybody, this is Carly with Carly's Creations, and today I'm going to show you how I make the Northern Stars tumbler that I've been posting. So I'll start with the supplies and then I'll kind of go from there. The cup that I'm using is a 30-ounce Ozark stainless steel tumbler. You can find them most anywhere, Amazon, anywhere. I find mine at Walmart. They have good prices there. So, and this was the stainless steel color. What I did is I spray painted the bottom black and the top a deep blue. The black is where our trees are going to go, so I wanted those to look like shadows. So that's why I did that. And I will tell you from experience, the first couple times I did this, I sprayed my cup, I let it sit and dry, you know, dry to the touch. I thought it was dry. Put my trees on, got my cup all done, went to go take my trees off, and the paint hadn't completely dried to the cup. So the paint was peeling off. So last time I did it, I let it sit for a few days and then I did the cup, and that seemed to work. So this cup has been sitting for 3 days now. I sprayed it on Thursday. It's now Sunday. So it's been sitting for a few days. In theory, it should be fine. So let's cross our fingers and hope for the best. So, okay. So there's our cup. These are going to be our vinyl trees, which I'll show you in just a second. You're going to need an X-Acto knife, tweezers, and I use a glove for the epoxy part, which I'll show you. Transfer tape, which I got on Amazon. Just found it by the roll, lasts for a while. I'm going to use my little weeding tool for the trees. Get like a little spoon. I just have this little guy right here. The epoxy, which I'll get in a minute, and our glitter. So our glitter, you're going to use a lot of different colors, and I actually found on Etsy through Backfist Custom, excuse me, they have a kit with all the different colors that you need for the Northern Star tumblers. So rather than buying all these different colors separately, it just came as a kit. So you can find that on Etsy. I'll show you the colors. The kiwi, it's a bright green, purple, orchid. There's like a blue, and it has kind of different, a bit of pinks and silvers. You can kind of see Atlantic Nights, which is really pretty. Does look like a sky. Bubblegum. These last two are probably my favorite. This one is Blueberry Muffin. And Ursula. This one has blues and purples and all kinds of different colors. So these colors will shift. They're changing colors, shifting glitters, so they'll shift all kinds of different colors. So, okay, let's get started. So I thought I would show you how I put on the trees. This doesn't need a lot of weeding, but it does need some. So I'm going to go ahead and pull out the pieces that I don't need. And I did not do the wart feature for this. I have seen some videos where they do the wart feature to put the trees on the bottom. What I do is I kind of cut them in sections and then put them on in sections. I find it easier when you go to take it off to get them off that way. Okay. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and cut off some transfer tape. So now, this is what I do, is I kind of find, I don't know if you can kind of see how the trees are. I don't know if you can kind of see that, but there's little parts in between the branches where they're not touching. So I find those spots, and that's where I make my cut. And then I will line them up on the cup. I might need more trees, so we'll have to see. Okay, so I'm going to put these there. Going to get my first section right here. Just push down firm on your transfer tape. And very slowly kind of just pull it off. Sometimes it'll get a little stuck, so we're just going to pull it off. I don't know if you can hear, but my boys are doing army chants outside. I told them they weren't allowed to come in until after I was done making this video. Okay, so there's that. There's a few little pieces in here that didn't quite come off, so I'm just going to get those off. Okay. Fix those pieces. All right. So now we're going to lay this on the very bottom of the cup. Try to get it as straight as possible. And this logo right here, you may still see, but that's okay. In the long run, you won't be able to notice too much. Okay. Okay. All right. Try to get off any glitter that you have. I'm sure you can hear that. Okay. You're going to lay it just down at the very bottom. And I lay the middle down first, very lightly. And then I'm going to lightly kind of push with my finger. Just a little bit. Sometimes you need to make a little cut because of the curve of the cup. That works too. So you don't get any weird bubbles in your trees. It's that side. We're going to do a little cut here too. It just helps it lay a little bit better. You do want to make sure you get it flat. You don't want any creases in your trees because you don't want the epoxy and the glitter to get under the trees. Once you get it on there the way that you want, make sure you press it down nice and hard. And then you're going to slowly peel up your transfer tape. Okay. Like that. There's a little bubble here. Not a big deal if it's on the bottom. Sometimes I actually leave a little bubble so it's a little bit easier to pull up in the end. It's up here in your trees is where you don't want the bubbles. So where all your branches are here, you do want to make sure those are really good on the cup. There we go. Next section. So we're going to do the same thing, and we're just going to keep on going around the cup. I'm going to get some more transfer tape. Same thing. Push it down. Put your image on there really well. And peel it off. Sometimes it helps if you kind of go from the bottom and just work your way up like that. Okay. Go ahead and peel any excess off that did not come off originally. Sometimes vinyl is just a pain to work with, I'll be honest. A little bit more. Okay. Is that one little piece? It's always that one piece at the end, right? There we go. Okay. I got all that extra off. All right, so now you're gonna line it up. So we're just gonna kind of continue where we left off. Line up the sides and the bottom. Keep it even. Last thing you want is a crooked tree line. And I overlap this one just a little bit. I mean, barely. Push down in the middle a little bit. And push up from there, okay? Slowly go around. You're doing the same thing you did before. I'm gonna make a little cut. Helps that go down. Oops. A little bit easier. You just kind of work around and play with it a little bit. All right, I got that down. Okay, so again, push really hard. Make sure your image is down, everywhere that it needs to be. Oh, well, that's okay. So what we did was the bottom part. I forgot to take that part off, but that's okay. We will work with it and we will make it work. We're not going to get any epoxy down at the bottom anyway, so that's okay. But our tree line still, the tree line still looks okay. Okay, so we're going to add the little back section here. Oops. Okay. One more section, which should be good. Sorry, I know this is taking a few minutes. Next part's the fun part, I promise. Hang in there. But I know when I'm learning to do something, I like to see every step of the way, even if it does take a little while longer. So there's the strip. This does not want to come off. There we go. So that's the last of our tree line. We got all the pieces off that time. Any pieces that come up, I just get my little tool and flatten it out. So, okay. All right, last piece. Here we go. Remember, I overlap just a little bit. Line it up down at the bottom, go up through the middle. If you need to make a cut, make a cut. And there you go. Okay. Push down. Okay. And there we have it. Make sure that tree line is down nice and flat. Okay, so there you go. All right, got the tree line down. Okay, you want to make sure that's all set, nice and flat. Now, your next step is to mix the epoxy. So give me just a second. I'm going to go and put some in my cup here. Okay. Okay. So we have very little in our cup, and I'll show you. I just did one tiny pump. I do have the gallon size epoxy jars, so I do have the pumps on those. I just did one little pump of each. One of A, one of B. Same rule applies. You do want to mix equal parts of A and B. Don't mind the crying kids in the background. Usually to mix it, you do want to mix it a couple minutes. Once your epoxy is clear, you will know it's ready. There are some bubbles in here, but I'm not too worried about it because we're going to go ahead and put that on the cup. We're going to smooth it out as we work with it. So, okay, so there's I don't know if you can tell, it comes up to right about there. Very little in here. You don't need much. Not for this first part anyways. Okay. So now what we're going to do, take my little stick out. Okay. We're going to put the epoxy just on the top part here. Don't mind my kids. We have 5. It's a little crazy in here. It's never quite moment. Okay. So you don't want to put any on the bottom at all. We're not going to put any epoxy on the bottom. Not yet. Not until our final coat. I'm going to get some on my finger. And I'm just going to go ahead and work it onto my cup. I'm going to work kind of in between the trees here. You want to get in all the creases. I don't pour it on because I want a very thin layer on. So I'm not going to pour it on. We're going to do this all the way around the cup. There is on Woods Goodies a website. It's a mica powder called Northern Lights that you can mix in with the epoxy for this layer that will add a glow to the back, kind of the background of your cup. She's been out for a while, so I have not been able to do that. Okay. You want a very thin layer. You don't want a lot right now. This is just to get your glitter to stick. Excuse me. Keep on adding. And I did spray the back of my cup, or not the back, the top of the cup, the blue, just so it would still have kind of like a sky look to it. If you Google pictures of the Northern Stars, there's so many different colors. I mean, you could probably even spray it like a really deep purple would actually be pretty too. You could do a black as well. It's all different. So usually what I'll do is I'll Google images for Northern Stars, and I'll go ahead and look at different pictures of them. Each picture is different. Some will have more blues and greens, some have more pinks, purples, some have pinks and blues. I mean, it's just all kinds of different colors. It's really pretty. So I'll pick, you know, whichever one kind of jumps out at me, or, you know, it depends on who I'm making it for. If I'm making it for a girl, I might add some more pinks and purples in there. And I'll kind of just go off of that picture as far as like inspiration. Okay, I almost have it on. I'm gonna add just a little bit more. See what I was saying about the bubbles? You're working it out anyway, so don't stress too much about your bubbles that you have in the cup here. I'm even gonna have some left over because you don't use that much. You do want to work fairly fast because you don't want your epoxy to start dripping there. Okay. All right, we got it all covered. Okay. So I'm going to put that here. I'm going to take off my glove. Now the fun starts. Okay. So I'm going to start by, I usually start by adding some of the green, some of the brighter colors along the trees, because I want those trees to pop. I want the shadow to really be seen from the trees. So I'm going to hold it up high, and I'm just going to tap on my spoon and just add a little bit. Less is more with these cups. Usually glitter tumblers, you want to add a lot of glitter. These you want to add less. You can always add more. Make sure you're kind of getting it in between the branches there. Okay. That was the green, the kiwi. I'm going to add a little bit of the blue, the rain that I showed you. Just kind of little blurbs of it. All right, the glorious thing with these cups is you really can't mess up. Okay. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, if you look at the Northern Stars, there's lots of streaks and clumps of colors in the sky. So I'm going to start maybe right here where my color is. I'm going to actually get the green, and I'm going to kind of come up here at an angle a little bit. we're going to add that. Now we're going to pull in some of the pink. And again, no rhyme or reason, honestly. It just, whatever you like, whatever picture you're going to go by. Now this color does shift from like a pink to a blue. So if you can kind of see, I don't know how you can see, how it does start off pink when you put it on there, but then as it sinks into the epoxy, it does shift to a blue. Okay, so we're gonna get the purple. Remember that purple and blue that I told you about? I'm gonna add a little blurb here and there of that. Okay. All right, so now I'm gonna come to the other side of the cup, and I'm gonna add some pink coming up. A little bit of pink here. I'm going to do a couple little clusters. Now, some of the people I do cups for these ones want writing on them, and some do not. So this one does not want any writing, so I'm not going to worry about trying to leave kind of space, so to say. I'm going to add a little bit of purple. If I'm doing writing, like usually the spot right here, I will add the Atlanta Nights, the black. So I'm not doing the writing over the stars. I don't want to cover that up. That's the whole pretty part of the cup. Okay. And you just want to kind of keep playing around with it and kind of see until you start to get the look you want. So I'm gonna add some more colors in here. I'm gonna add the blueberry muffin, which is the blue. It's almost like a deep navy blue. It's really pretty. Add a little bit towards the outside. Put that back. I'm gonna add a little bit more pink. And I do want to have a little bit more green kind of coming up here. Like I said, I like to do kind of the bright colors down at the bottom because you really see the trees pop. Versus if you're doing darker colors, you're not going to see the trees as well. Okay. All right. Now it does look splotchy right now. It does. The colors haven't blended. As your cup turns, the colors are going to blend a little bit more in there, and it's not going to look so splotchy. So kind of in this space right here is where I'm going to start to add the Atlanta Nights. And that's going to be part of our sky there. That's kind of my filler color with these cups. I kind of add that in between the stars. Okay, so we added some of the black in there, like so. All right. I'm going to add a little bit more of the color in here. Let's see. I'm going to add some of the Ursula. And I do want to pull a little bit more of the pink in. There we go. And right here, I want to pull a little bit more of the green. Okay. blue, kind of outline the pink and purple and green here. And then I'm going to fill that spot in there with the lantanites. And you can even add, I have glitter that is actual stars that I add, the outer space cups that I do, and I can do a tutorial if you want on those. I do add the stars to those cups. I don't add it to these, but you can. And you're gonna just kind of keep playing around with it until you get the look that you want. So I think that actually looks good the way it is. Okay, so now, the worst part, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is the worst part, is you have to take your trees off. Because you don't want the epoxy to cure on there with trees, otherwise you're not gonna get them off. So, take your time. I can't stress this enough. Take your time. You're gonna get your X-Acto knife, tweezers, anything that you think you can use, and you're gonna very gently, you don't want to peel your paint. If you peel your paint, your cup's ruined and you gotta start all over again, and trust me, you don't want to do that. So we're just gonna do a little bit at a time. Go slowly. This process does take a while. It'll take you a good 20 minutes. And you do want to keep an eye on your epoxy up here. I notice sometimes if I hold it too long in the same spot, it'll start to kind of clump. So you do want to keep that in mind. You're gonna literally have to get it piece by piece. In all honesty, this is the hardest part about these cups and the most time consuming. They do take a while, but they're pretty and they're worth it, so there you go. So you have your tree outline. Okay, so remember in the beginning when I said the sections just seem easier to me? This is what I was talking about. So I can just pull them off very gently, section by section, very slowly. Take your time, I can't stress that enough. Get your tweezers. If I can, I use the tweezers. It's less likely you're gonna nick your paint, but sometimes you just can't grasp it like so. This does not want to come up. Sorry, I know this takes a while. If you have any questions, let me know below. If you want to see the outer space one, let me know below too. I can do a tutorial on that. Those ones are not as complicating, I promise. This does not want to come up. Okay, so we're just gonna keep on going over here. Okay, I'm gonna keep working on this and then I will come back when I'm a little bit closer, otherwise we might be here for 45 minutes. Okay, but you can kind of see how the trees are coming? So pretty. Okay, I'm gonna keep working for a minute and then I'll come back. Okay, so we've let it spin all night long. I just started to add some of the epoxy on. You can kind of see how it does look a little dull right there. As soon as you start to add your epoxy, that'll shine right back up. So what I did, so you can kind of see the difference already right there. See how it shines up? So pretty. Okay, so I did mix equal parts of epoxy. I'm just going to dump a little bit. Sorry, I'm trying to hold my phone and do this at the same time. Get it nice and smooth. And because she doesn't want any writing on this one, I am going to make sure I do have a nice thick layer of the epoxy on here. So I just kind of pour a little bit on at a time. Make sure you get it nice and even. And if you've done glitter tumblers before, this part is no different than how those work as far as putting this layer on. No tricks or anything like that. I'm amazed every time though, honestly, how much it shines right back up as soon as you put this on. You should be able to see now. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and keep doing this. It is about 11 o'clock in the morning, so I'm going to let this turn probably up until I go to bed tonight, which usually, I don't know, I'll probably turn it off about 9 or 10 tonight. So I'm going to let this turn that whole time, and then I'm going to let it sit completely undisturbed overnight. And this one I am shipping out. So after it sits overnight, I will let it sit for probably 2 more days before I actually ship it. I give it 48 to 72 hours from when it's completed and to when I ship. See, it's getting shiny, isn't it pretty? These are so fun. A little stressful, I'm not gonna lie, but they're fun. They're worth it. Alright, so I'm going to finish smoothing this out and then I will show you pictures of the finished product.